I'm going to say, if you were to tell me a year ago when we started this podcast that we'd be doing an episode on Mariah Carey, not only that, but that I'd be super excited to do it,
yeah,
I would say, wow, you must not know me as well as I thought you did. But here we are, and I'm super excited to do this. We're talking about one of the greatest artists that's ever lived.
Of all time and still living.
I got to say, like, who I thought Mariah was before and who she actually is like so fucking different that it's almost kind of embarrassing for me, to be honest.
Oh, you had her in like a Julie Andrews kind of category?
I just had her like, no, I'll be real. Like, so this is the thing. Like, I mean, I was a freshman in high school in 2009.
Okay.
So it's like, by the time I was an adult or like caring about music, Mariah Carey had been so big for so long that it was almost like corny to me.
Okay.
You know what I mean? If somebody was like, oh yeah, like I'm going to go home and listen to Mariah, it's like, oh what? Let me guess, you like the Beatles too? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not, I never didn't like her.
Yeah.
But I just didn't really understand like who she was. Like I just saw her as like, you know, there were so many like really big pop singers that are basically just like the front person of this whole group of people in the label that are writing the songs, that are producing, and she's basically like the face of it.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what I thought Mariah was, and I could not have been more wrong.
Yeah, it's hard to not be a fan after a while. Like for me, Mariah, like we've reacted to some of her songs and stuff, and I'll see certain album covers, and I'll literally ask like, "Oh, what era is this?" And when I was doing my research last night, it's like I know more than 5 songs from every single album, like word for word, you know, and I haven't bought one album. Sorry, Mariah. Sorry. I haven't bought one album, but I am a fan. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you brought up the reaction. So this is what really spurred my whole change in Mariah's, because, you know, check out Sight After Dark, YouTube, we do reactions. And we were doing reactions to Mariah, and I remember the first time it came up, I was like, all right, like, we'll do Mariah, like, whatever. I wasn't super, like, excited about it. Mm-hmm. But then I remember listening to it, I'm just like, oh my God. Like, this is amazing. Mm-hmm. And it sounds like this track was just made, like, exactly for her. Like, her voice sounds so good on it.
Yeah.
And then what really blew me away was the comment section. Because people were telling me in the comments, well, you know why it sounds like that? Because she produced it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, wait, what? She produced it too? And they're like, oh, and she wrote it. I'm like, oh my God, well, this is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that blew me away in the comments is like, you know, we do a lot of reaction videos. And a lot of the comments would be like, oh, like, you know, I remember where I was when I first heard this song, or, you know, this song reminds me of this, or blah, 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 blah. But the comments on the Mariah videos were like, Mariah is my queen, Mariah is the greatest artist ever, Mariah is this, Mariah is that. Like, the amount of love that she got, I was like, whoa, I must be really missing out on something here. Like, it was intense. I was like, this is blowing me away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm like, I must have misunderstood what Mariah was. And that's kind of what led me into, you know, doing more research and listening to more Mariah, and then to doing this right now.
Yeah.
Because, again, like, what I thought she was versus what she actually is could not have been more wrong. And as a person that tries to make myself seem like someone that knows a lot about music, I feel kind of embarrassed about it now.
Oh, man.
But it is what it is. I'm fine to be embarrassed if it's for Mariah.
Yeah, if some good came out of it.
Yeah. So I had to say that. And it's crazy. I mean, she was like... I didn't know this until obviously we were researching for this. She has the second most #1 singles of anybody all time after the number one is this some band from England, the Roaches, the
Scarabs. I can't remember.
Oh, the Beatles.
Yes.
That's who it was. My bad. But that's 4 people.
I was about to say, it takes 4 guys to be one Mariah. Okay.
I'm just saying, like, that's mad impressive.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. Like, and again, I can't believe that I didn't know this shit. Like, I'm mad at myself. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, where have I been?
Take it easy on yourself, Dan.
No. I refuse. I'm about to go on TRL and hand out ice cream.
I feel like I always was hearing her on the radio. And when she made that statement about having, like, #1s for, like, a decade... I remember thinking, like, really? Like, it's been
that long?
It's been that long. Like, that's just crazy.
Yeah. To that point, like I said before, I mean, we were talking about this. Like, I wasn't always a huge lamb, as they call the Mariah fans, as I only recently found out. But I was looking back at, like, her #1 singles, and I was listening to them, and I was just like, oh... I know, like, all of these songs.
Yeah.
Like,
isn't that crazy?
I'm like, there's definitely songs that I was like, I didn't even realize this was Mariah.
Yeah.
I was watching an interview. So first of all, she's in the Songwriters Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
So shout out to her and the Songwriters Hall of Fame for rightfully putting her in.
Right.
And she was saying, the interviewer, I don't remember what interview this was, but they were like, why do you think that people don't think of you as a songwriter? When clearly you're a great songwriter. I mean, you're the fucking Songwriter Hall of Fame. She was like, I feel like it's just because people don't really like see me at a piano or with a guitar.
Yeah.
But it's like when I was a little kid, like I was always able to write poetry and I was always able to write melodies. And I was just like, oh, well, if I just combine them, that's a song.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I always thought that was interesting. And she was like, yeah, like I can write a song on a piano, but like there's people that... If you're actually a piano player, you're going to know that I don't really play piano.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And when you see songwriters as big as she is, you just figure that there's a machine writing the songs for you, because that even happens to this day. And it happened with her colleague, the great Whitney Houston. You know, Whitney was just as great of a singer, but Whitney wasn't writing like all of her songs. She wasn't like super involved with the production. That was Clive, you know. So
Shout out to the Don.
You know, and all of our great singers, like, you know, you see like a Barbra Streisand, like Judy Garland, like, you know what I mean? These people took these songs and made them theirs, definitely, but they weren't necessarily writing the songs. So that's what happened with her. They were like, you write music?
See, that's exactly what it was. Literally my whole life, that's what I thought that Mariah was.
Okay.
I didn't realize that she was writing this shit. And immediately when I heard that, I was just like, oh. Now I get it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's one of those things, like, I've always thought about this. Like, I feel like if you have people writing the song for it, and this, I don't know if this is going to sound weird, but, like, if you have people writing the song for you, I feel like you're a performer. I don't know if you're really an artist necessarily, because you're not creating it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you could be a great performer for sure, but I feel like to be like an artist, like, it has to be from you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because what happens when like your hit maker, you know, separates from you, you know, and then the quote unquote talent has to show now, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's the only thing that that makes me like agree with you as well. Like, yeah, you're not necessarily an artiste, but you're there. You could come along.
Yeah. So that's it's just like I can't believe how wrong I was about what she is.
Yeah.
Like the fact that she writes all the songs, that she produces all the songs, and she could sing like that. I'm just like, what else would you want her to do?